Around here, you'll notice that we have one more gate, and this is a manual gate, and we open and close this every day, open it in the morning, close it at night. This is basically to keep the cattle from trying to get in here and ruining everything. So that's all it's for. Then coming down here in the waterway, those are cottonwood trees. So I grew up in California, and I'd heard of cottonwood trees, but I'd never seen any. And one of the stories that my husband likes to tell to embarrass me is one day I was taking a walk in the back, and it looked like somebody had opened up a mattress and threw the inside everywhere. And so I came home and I tell my husband, I don't know, maybe we forgot a mattress or something from the lady who owned the place before us. And maybe the bears or someone got into it, because there's white stuff everywhere. And he looks at me and he says, what type of trees are in the back? And I say, cottonwood. And he looks at me and says, cottonwood trees, Linda. And I'm looking at him. I am a little dense at times. And then I go, oh, it's from the trees. And he goes, yes, Linda, that's the cotton from the cottonwood trees. So now I'll tell that story. I'm not embarrassed anymore, but that's the way it goes. Now, if you look across the way, you're going to also see grapes. All that green on the hillside are grapes. And then on this side as well, we have acres and acres of wild grapes. So the reason I'm so careful about putting organza bags on the grapes in the main part of the ranch so we can get them is because and eat them is because the bears, the raccoons, the deer, all the different animals that are back here, they get the grapes before we do. We never get any grapes. No. They're everywhere. This is all grapes. And I'll show you more acres of grapes. This pipe here is where the East Pond meets up with the West Pond water. And it hooks together, and then it gets shot up the hill and ends up in our water tanks. Now you'll see that we have some running water. There's our running water. It's not as high right now. And if you take a tour, we usually do our breakfast and our lunch picnics up here. It's just a wonderful little heading spot. I'm going to go over this bridge right here. We're going to turn this off. So you wouldn't think that 15 minutes from Palm Springs, now I would say it's about 75 degrees up here. Running water, big, beautiful trees, grapes. One of our new projects built a bridge over here, and we have a little walkway here. And we're going to be cleaning out what was an old trail to make a new trail over to the West Pond. That bridge looks like it's a wood bridge, but the bottom of it is a old trailer that we had in the back of the ranch. That wasn't functioning as a trailer anymore, but it was perfect size to use as the base of our footbridge to take us over. So as you know, Bishop, you've had a lot of lunches and breakfasts over here. Most of them are catered by Cornerstone Barbecue, which they have a few locations, but we use the one in Beaumont, which is just fabulous. They're some of the best barbecue I've ever had, and I've had a lot of barbecue. But this is where you could go to get away from the heat of Palm Springs. Bring your family for a tour, and you can have a picnic breakfast or lunch up here where it's much cooler. If you take a listen, you can hear the water going down the rocks in the little fall. I will bring a lunch up here quite often and sit by myself and just enjoy the sounds and the cool weather, being in the trees. It really doesn't get better than this. And then sometimes I get a text message saying, can you go do the banking for the store? And I have to leave here and go into town and do the banking. It doesn't make me very happy, but it's a necessity. Who would want to leave this? If you go online to our different social media pages, you'll see lots of videos and pictures of people sitting around this table, enjoying themselves with a nice picnic breakfast or lunch. Now, this is a barbecue pit that came long before us. Tanya from Tanya's Kitchen had a big photo shoot for a magazine. She does vegan food, and she did a whole vegan barbecue shoot up here one day. It was a lot of fun. We don't do a lot of barbecues because during fire season, we don't want to have any open flames, but we probably could do some in the off season when it's cooler. I was told that this was built for the summertime, actually, when the ranch hands, when they were running cattle, they didn't want to be down below where it was a lot warmer, downright hot, I would say. So they'd come up here at night and they'd eat under the trees and they'd barbecue. So that's how this came about, I hear. I wasn't there, so I can't confirm it. To a rest stop for those who like to take hikes, and it's the bee house. We'll just park over here. Now, I don't know the dates, but I've been told, and again, I get told these things by people who say they are in the know, but I can't confirm anything. But I was told that this bee house, which I wouldn't say we rebuilt it, it was tilting, so we've straightened it and added a new roof to it. But this is where they processed the honey that they'd get from all their beehives. And at one time I was told that this ranch had some of the largest numbers of registered bee boxes in California with the Department of Agriculture. True or not, I'm not 100% sure, but that we have more bees here than probably any other place in California, that I would believe 100%. So let's come on out and take a look. So when we first saw the bee house, there was all sorts of decay around it. We couldn't see anything. And we didn't have this area here, this stepping area, and a means to keep a lot of the water from coming in through the doorway. This was the original door that was here, including the antler handle. But the door was in really bad shape. It was all decayed, so we had to rebuild the bottom of it. It was decayed from all the water that was running in. So this is why we built this. So if you come on in here, we replastered all the walls. And if you see this cable up here, that was put in because everything was tilted. So now this keeps it true, keeps it nice and firm. We rebuilt the windows because they were all broken, and we didn't want to put glass in here, so it's not really anything of value, but it does keep the bugs out and keeps light in. And we had it, so we just used it. We try to use everything that we have on the ranch rather than going out to purchase things. People use this as a rest stop. If they're hiking, they'll come here and they'll sit down, or they'll sit on the patio. If it's cold and windy, sometimes we're picking people up inside here. They let us know that they want to have a ride. A lot of times when people are on tour with us, there might be a variety of ages and abilities. And so if the weather starts to turn, gets too cold or too hot, we have radios, and someone will radio down and say, I'm leaving some people down at the bee house. Can you come pick them up? And we do, while the other people finish with their tour on foot. And we'll sometimes just drive, if they want, we'll drive them through and finish the tour in one of our vehicles. If not, we'll bring them down to the main part of the ranch, and we have an area that's a nice kitchenette, living room type of area with a bathroom, and they can stay there and relax and enjoy that part of the ranch. And once they're rested up, they can go through the orchards and see the animals and basically do what they please in there. But we do like to know where everybody is on the ranch, because 400 acres, if you fell down and hurt yourself and we didn't know where you were, it could be trouble. But come around here. Before we had this railing, and we didn't want to get rid of the tree, so we put the railing through the tree. Before we had the railing here, this basically was one big hill. So we made sure we had a good foundation and retaining wall. But as we were clearing everything out down here, we were finding things. And some of the things we found were objects for processing the honey. And we have them here. We're still short a few pieces, and we're going to start searching for them on other side of the hill when we have some time. And as soon as we're able to get all the pieces together, we're going to put it together as a display over here on the side so people can actually see how the honey was separated from the beeswax and processed. And again, things just become a part of the decor because we've put them someplace. But I just remember pulling out weeds and finding this just in the ground and just hanging it up to get it out of the way. And now it's part of the decor. I think I leave books around my house and it's the same thing. Oh, I'm putting the book here, and 5 years later, it's part of the decor. So that's what that is. We ended up making nice outhouses using composting toilets. So if anybody's on this side of the ranch and they really have to use the restroom, we've got a place for them. And as you can see, we used enamel box for our fire extinguishers. We have them all around the ranch. So these are our bathrooms. And we asked people to put a tally mark. After we have 5 tally marks of using restrooms, we always make sure we come and clean it out because we don't want people coming into a dirty restroom. So in here is our restroom, composting toilets, the things you put in the composting toilet, the rules, way to keep things clean. We have a sink and soap. And it's pretty clean in here. First aid, solar lights. Now it's not the Ritz, but I don't think you're expecting the Ritz when you're up here, but it's better than a stinky outhouse. And what do you say? This has been used twice, I think. Does it smell like an outhouse?
No, it smells great.
Just fresh air.
I would sleep in there.
All right, let's head up towards the rest pond. But look at this, isn't this gorgeous? More of the birds of paradise. People ask us why we wrap our plants, sometimes put hoods over them. We have a lot of little cottontails, and they like to eat our plants. So this is Mexican bird of paradise, and all it's doing is keeping them from eating it down by the roots. So if they nibble on the top, it's not so bad. But we'd like all of this stuff to grow and thrive, so we try to cover them. So those big patches of green are actually filled with water, and the water that they're coming from is above. There are springs, and the springs seep down underground and overground, both ways, depending on if it's been raining or not, and they overfill. And then they just create big patches of green inside of them. And quite often, if we go up there and we put a camera up there, you'll see lots of wildlife living in those green patches.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is only part 1 of Linda taking us on a tour of the back portion of the ranch. If you want to see it for yourself, take your family on the tour, please check out the link I have in the description or go to the website I have on the screen. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and a bell notification for future videos because we'll definitely be back with more. Until next time, we'll catch you in the next video.